Hello, what is up everyone? This is week 5. I've already lost count, that's not a good sign, of this week in gaming news. So we have a bit of a slow week this week, but still some interesting things to talk about, just not as many of them. So our first topic today is Nintendo being a dumbass again. Strike me surprised. Just kidding, I'm not surprised at all. So essentially what the rundown is, if anyone's unaware of what freemelee is, let me pull up all of the dirty details. Oh yeah, give me all this. Give it all to me. Alright. So if you are not unaware of what freemelee is, essentially what has happened is Nintendo pulled a big house, told them to stop streaming their tournament because they were using Slippi, which was an emulator that allowed Melee to be played online, and which is essentially what has been keeping the Smash community, the Melee community specifically, alive in the pandemic, because you can't really go and meet and have local tournaments, you have to have them online. And Nintendo went and pulled the plug on that tournament and that stream, which is a huge punch in the gut, as the Melee scene is already struggling to keep things afloat right now, right? In solidarity for this, a bunch of Splatoon members in the Splatoon NA Open, which I'm pretty sure is affiliated with Nintendo, showed clan tags like freemelee. Let's say they Meleetation, a tweet to probably something freemelee related, hashtag freemelee. All these teams that entered this open tournament, a bunch of them had, Melee related tags, because freemelee is this hashtag, which essentially what Melee wants, what Melee competitors, what they want is for Nintendo to just leave them alone. It's okay if Nintendo doesn't go out and, have fully supported brackets and tournaments and seasons and stuff like that, as long as they just leave them alone. That's all they want. And Melee, the competitive scene did go under a bit of hot water when, there was kind of scandals that were going on. If you're interested in looking those up, I do think you should. But all of the players that got essentially accused and shown of doing very bad things were kicked out of the community, right? We do have a community here of people that just want to play this game and just want to live in the competition, because, Melee is the most competitive Smash, especially, if you compare it to Ultimate. Ultimate is like a kid's game in comparison, right? That being said, there's still a good competitive scene there. So coming back to Splatoon, a lot of teams entered this tournament in order to, with Melee names, in order to show solidarity for, the same umbrella, the same corporation, supporting what should be another thriving competitive scene, but it's not. And instead, if you think about two games, you have Melee and you have Splatoon. One of them is inherently much more competitive than the other. You have a fighting game, and then you have, a colorful shooting game. And that's not to discount Splatoon at all. Splatoon is a really cool scene to watch, but when you have a community that is making a competitive game on its own compared to making a competitive game with the help of, Nintendo, that brand, it is, two different worlds, right? So let's read some of the tweets. This is from Slimy, who is a Smash tournament organizer and commentator. So, the Splatoon community, in support of the Smash community, has 30% of the top teams in this weekend's Splatoon 2 NA Open tournament, with team names in support of Melee and Smash. So what does Nintendo America do in response? They canceled their live stream for tomorrow's finals. Kind of funny that they'll sever their own support that they love to parade around as something so fantastic, just because the Splatoon community wanted to stand in solidarity with the other scenes and Nintendo outright harms. Hashtag freemelee, hashtag save Smash. Let's take a look at some of these tweets. Due to unexpected executional challenges, we had to forego a live stream for this tournament's finals. And let's take a look at some of the names. I think I showed these earlier, but yeah. All of these names, a lot of them in support of Melee. And then, to be clear, this is Nintendo's call, not any of the tournament organizers or broadcasters they've enlisted for the weekend. This is damage control and an outright spit in the face of all their dedicated competitive scenes. But we ain't surprised. And honestly, you shouldn't be surprised anyway. Nintendo is a company that makes fantastic games. Like, they just have a constant track record of making amazing game. Like, there's no other way to put it. Like, the new Smash game is absolutely awesome and amazing in their polish, in their gameplay. But they're surrounded by a company of idiots, of people who, maybe they're not idiots, right? Maybe they know what they're doing this on purpose, but they just don't communicate at all. It's so hard to see that, though. They just seem tone deaf to what the world is and what the world wants. And it's just so incredibly frustrating when you have a company that has just literally made a legacy of amazing titles, and there are people who want to take these games and pursue them competitively. The competitive scene, when people play a game so much, and when a game is so enjoyable to watch, and you have these grassroots competitions coming up, you know, it's a beautiful thing to watch that happen. And to have a company tear that down because they're blaming the emulator use. They're using the only way that these people have to competitively play during a pandemic and using that as ammunition to take them down. It's just awful to see. I can't fathom what's going through the minds of whatever idiots are in charge of this sort of thing. How separated they are from reality. They gain nothing from this, as far as I could tell. The only thing, like, and they honestly, they have only things to gain from letting this happen, as far as I could tell. I wish Nintendo would just leave these tournaments alone. That's all they want. Just leave them alone. And I just have to wonder, is there, you know, it's not some Japanese culture of anti-competitiveness, because they have that. You know, they don't like being competitive in a day-to-day life. They're kind of, and that's probably separate from gamers, just general business culture. Do they want to see their games as like family friendly and not super competitive? I kind of doubt that, right? Because they're building fighting games, for Christ's sake. I don't see downsides from endorsing or leaving alone these tournaments. It's just really a mystery. And if you guys have any idea as to what is going on, I would love to talk to somebody at Nintendo and just ask what the hell is going on. But we know that'll never happen. It's just so sad that in a current age, we have honestly all these Western and some Eastern game companies that understand what social media is and how to use it to propel their brand. You have Nintendo going around bumbling like an idiot. They just have no idea how to manage a brand online. All they can do is make great games. When people try to make these games even better, or to make these games playable over the internet, they get shut down. If anyone has any other idea, I'd love to hear it, because I'm just at a loss. It is just so pathetic. And we have some words from people in the Splatoon community. The Splatoon community is for free melee save smash. Don't be fooled by Nintendo showing a tiny bit of support to Splatoon with the Open, right? Because this is a Nintendo supported project. And first prize is $25, right? So Nintendo is literally just slapping their name on something for free press. That's what they get from these tournaments. And they decide to shut the other one down for why? Why? Because they use an emulator? Because Nintendo can't be damned to have any formal support for online? Do they want a game to die? Like, what do they think that if Melee exists, that Super Smash, the Smash 4 or Smash 5, whatever the newest one is, won't? Because that's an unfounded, stupid, like absolutely, completely disconnected reality if that's what they think, right? Because the only people that are really playing Melee at this point are the people that will play Melee no matter what. They are Melee players, right? And the people that want to watch that are fans of Melee. It's a different game. And then, so if we all sign up as this, they can't ban everyone, right? Well, as we see, they can apparently. Obviously, they're not banned, but the tournament's not being streamed, and it's really just pathetic, right? And on like the Nintendo accounts, they're like, make sure you go watch the Splatoon Open tournament. Meanwhile, 500 comments talking about free melee save smat. Like, they literally didn't even delete the tweets that are advertising a tournament that cannot be streamed anymore. It's just frustrating. It's just really frustrating. But yeah, that's going to wrap up this topic. If you're interested in seeing more gaming news, be sure to like and subscribe, and hashtag fucknintendo.